Gilligan worked with two esteemed developmental psychologists during her time at Harvard, Erik Erikson and Lawrence Kohlberg. Gilligan noticed that Kohlberg's studies were incredibly gender-biased and that he only used boys as subjects when researching moral development in children. Gilligan also addressed the fact that girls are often socialized differently than males. This inspired Gilligan to conduct her own studies on moral development using girls as test subjects. She published this research in the book In a Different Voice, Psychological Theory in Women's Development in 1982. In this research, Gilligan discovered that young females exhibited developmental tendencies that differed from those of the young male subjects. She discovered that female development is deeply rooted in relationships and feelings of obligation towards caring for others, being responsible for others, and nurturing others. Women are more likely to make choices based on how those choices will affect others. This is an influence Kohlberg did not address in his theory. This inhibited women from reaching Kohlberg's theorized higher reasoning levels, making them seem inferior.
Gilligan divided female moral development into 3 stages. They are:
Level 1 Orientation to Individual Survival. Individual moral decisions are made based on the interest and survival of the self.
Carol asked 18-year-old girl a question, what she thought when she found herself pregnant.
I really didn't think anything, except that I didn't want it.
Why was that?
I didn't want it. I wasn't ready for it. And next year will be my last year, and I want to go to school.
If there was a right decision?
There is no right decision.
Why?
I didn't want it.
For her, the question of a right decision would emerge only if her own needs were in a conflict. Then she would have to decide which need should take a precedence. She is very happy to have a baby. She is thinking about a freedom which will get after the marriage. But huge responsibility and restrictions will come after the baby, and she is also restricting her freedom to do lots of things. Woman morality is based on her own needs to survival. The woman will face her choice in meeting her own basic needs before needs of the other.
First, transition from selfishness to responsibility. In level 1, self-interest is served as the basis for judgment. It is articulated in the terms of a 17-year-old pregnant adolescent.
I could have a baby that I could take care, but I do not think about the responsibility. Like, I have to be there, I have to work out a lot of things. I was not looking at the situation realistically.
The dilemma now assumes moral definition as the emergent conflict between wish and necessity is seen as a disparity between would and should.
In this case, the selfishness of willful decision is counterposed to the responsibility of moral choice. According to an adolescent, morality means if abortion is done for the right reasons, it will help you to start over and do different things. Now the basis of judgment is responsibility to oneself and towards others. Failure in transition leads to. She cannot find the basis upon which to resolve the pregnancy dilemma. Her decision contributes to sense of failure. She hates herself dull.
Stage 2. Conventional morality. Women feel good in self-sacrifice, and women feel rewarded by the selfless actions when assisting others to meet their needs before themselves. Let us explain this stage using 2 different yet similar examples. Hi, I'm Bella. I'm 19 years old. Today I feel very happy because I got to know I am 2 months pregnant. I'm very excited to be a mom now. I should go and tell my family and husband. I want to share a very good news with you. We are soon going to be parents. Yay! What? No, I don't want this baby. Please abort it. But why? We will have a happy family. I want to bring this child into this world. I am sorry, but my decision is final. You have to abort this baby. I don't know what choices are open to me. Both my family and my husband oppose this decision. I think what confuses me is, it is a choice of either hurting myself or hurting other people around me. But I can't see others get hurt because of me, so I'll go with what my family wants. Now, let's take one more example to explain this stage. Elena, just wait here. I will go and get a water bottle. Sure, Bonnie. You have to complete my assignment, or else you will have to face the consequences. Klaus, please, don't do this to me. I can't do your assignment. Stay away from her, or else you'll have to face my anger. Thank you. You saved me from Klaus without even thinking about yourself. I hope he won't fight with you. It's okay, Elena. I am ready to fight with him for you.
The second transition, from goodness to truth, it occurs between level 2 and 3. It begins with the reconsideration of the relationship between the self and the others. In the interview data, this transition was characterized by the appearance of the word selfish. Women begin to ask whether it is selfish or responsible to include their own needs in the circle of care and concern. The criterion for judgment thus shifts from goodness to truth. The morality of action is not assessed on how it appears in the eyes of the others, rather, of the realities of its intention and consequence. Now let's take an example from the interview session mentioned in the text. A 24-year-old Catholic woman again pregnant with a second child is in dilemma of whether to continue the pregnancy or abort it. The dilemma arises over the issue of justification of taking the life. The abortion decision was framed by the women in two terms. First, responsibilities towards other where having a second child is against medical advice and burden on family financially and emotionally. Second, an emotional selfish reason of not wanting to be tied down with two. So she concluded that she can't be so morally strict for her beliefs to hurt three people. Here one balances the responsibilities to others along care for self. She strives to encompass the needs of self as well as of the others, be responsible and thus be good. This is the essence of the transitional shift towards the new conception of goodness, which involves acknowledgement of the self and an acceptance of responsibility for decision based on their needs.
Level 3. The morality of non-violence is based on a woman's experience who has aborted her first child as the purging expression of her anger for being rejected by a man. After being pregnant for the second time by the same man, he puts her in a dilemma of choosing him over her pregnancy.
She felt guilty and kept on postponing abortion, as she was in dilemma of choosing two devils, that one hurting herself and second ending a life of a child.
Adopting societal standard for right action as one's own focus of morality moves from society to individual.
She is able to assert a moral equality between herself and others. Morality is doing what appropriate and what is just within her circumstances, but the decisions are always going to affect other persons. For the sake of others, she thought of aborting her second child.
At the beginning, she struggles with the contradiction between femininity and adulthood, but later on she acknowledges the truth of her own internal conflict. Thus, the self-deception of her initial presentation fears her to say that she does not want to have another baby.
Taking charge of herself and accepted the principle of loving herself and stand for her own decisions. She ultimately decides to go forward with the abortion because it is what she needs.
Development theory reconsidered. According to Gilligan, nobody in the world knows the real answer of morality. She thinks it is recognizing the right of individual and others should not interfere with those right. Let us look at this with help of an example.
Without a career and money, how would I take care of the child? I should abort it.
A new life should take priority over career. I should not abort it. Am I wrong? From this example we can see that there is no real right moral answer. Gilligan criticized the theory of Kohlberg. She believes that his theory does not take in account gender and that girls have different moral orientation than the boys. She found that, in male morality, emphasis is on justice, whereas in female morality, emphasis is on care and responsibilities. Kohlberg considered Gandhi to have reached the sixth and highest stage of moral reasoning, whereas Gilligan criticized Gandhi. She stated that Gandhiji himself said that he was a cruelly kind husband. According to Gilligan, in his everyday life, he compromised ethic of non-violence to which in principle and public, he was so steadfastly committed.